1 in 5 Americans suffer from chronic pain. Many are now using CBD for relief.
Activists are hoping pot could be legalized nationwide by the end of 2019.
When you look at premium cannabis, the Illinois House approved legalizing recreational marijuana.
Welcome to The Budding Report, a weekly show centered around all things cannabis. Please join us in welcoming our host, Charles Horton, and his co-host, Melissa Nasits, as they share the latest in cannabis news, conduct interviews with top leaders in the cannabis space, and promote some of the latest in science and innovation. And now to our host, Charles Horton.
Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Budding Report. It's a nice day in Dallas. We just had snow here. Well, not really snow here, but snow close to here this week. And I got out to my property at Malou, and we had 2 or 3 inches. So it was beautiful to get involved with some snow. But it's 50 out, and to me, it feels absolutely perfect. Do you like this weather, Melissa?
I will take it. It feels a little bit more like winter than we've been having, albeit I was hoping for a little more snow because I haven't had any here in about 6 years, worth mentioning anyway.
Right.
But you mentioned Malu, so let me go back to that because I've been kind of following you on Facebook and seeing what's been going on out there. So it looks like you're coming really far with that. So what's going on?
Well, I'm really excited about this project. It has so many integral parts in it, and I've been kind of putting it into to words so everybody can understand what I'm doing. But it's 55 acres out in Marshall. It's going to be a big recovery center, retreat center. So kind of starts off where we're a nonprofit. We're going to take in people that have drug addictions, that kids that are kicked out from home, repeat offenders from criminal issues. Dr. Xavier, who's been on our show, believes that he can help those type of people too. So we want to be a nonprofit recovery center, but at the same time, once you're through with your recovery part of it, we want to teach job skills. So we're also running a full retreat for weddings and conferences and festivals and events. We have 2.5 acres in front of a big stage. We can put thousands of people once COVID is over out in front of a stage, and so all of the people that are there for recovery can then learn job skills and put those job skills to work within the within the compound. So you can stay for a lifetime if you choose to, or you can learn a skill, recover, and move on. So it's I think a unique approach that puts a lot of things together. But I'm a big fan of entrepreneurship, and I want to teach entrepreneurship, and I've been really successful in life and want to help other people too. So listening to people like Dr. Shaw that's having great success getting people off of other drugs and opioids and all with CBD. I want to either work with him or at least have his help in designing our program. He's told me, though, that once we get open, if he comes out there, he wants to retire and he wants to be my resident DJ. So,
That's awesome. Well, you can always hit me up for some skill sets too. But so, participation wise, so as far as this point, this sounds like it's a pretty heavy investment. So are you doing this out of pocket? Are you getting government help? What's the plan?
So we're kind of doing everything. I'm going to put $5 million or more in it myself. I'm in the process of selling my house. I've sold some stocks and some business assets, so that's going to be part of it. I've put together a private placement memorandum for accredited investors to help out. We're multiple pieces, so we're putting together a real estate piece that is raising the money, and then it will pay out a 12% annual return, real estate secured to cover the real estate. The nonprofit then will rent the facility essentially from the for-profit entity, but we're also going to be raising money through the nonprofit to help funnel our growth too. We've hired a grant writer. As soon as we have our nonprofit status in place, then our grant writer will be out trying to pull in money as well. And then based on the types of people that we help, there's a lot of money available for them too.
Are you going to still have time to do the show with me or what?
Well,
you do. I'm wow.
I'm a big believer in having multiple things going on. So I'm going to have a full studio out at Malou too. And that's one of the things we'll teach. And one of the things that people can learn out there. I'm going to work with Jeff Curley, who owns the studio that we're doing our event in now, in order to do a facility out there. Now, I know you're not going to want to drive out there. So I love our personal interaction. So I'll still come out here plenty of times and have things to do in Dallas.
Well, how far is it out from outside of Dallas?
From here, it's about a 2-hour drive. It's 2 hours and 15 minutes from my house. And again, it's just beautiful. It's in the woods. I got 33 acres heavily wooded and 22 acres of cleared area. Right now, we have the roads built and the RV park is built, but we've had 2 months worth of rain. So there's been no construction done since then. We're putting up a greenhouse. We're going to do farm to table food out there. So that's going to be exciting, all organic food. And we're going to source the meats locally and all. I don't want to, I'm not the type, I'm a meat eater, but I'm not the type who can have a bunch of cows around and then be eating them. I would have named them and become friends. And
of course you would have. Well, I can't wait to see this come to fruition. I've heard you talk about it for some time, and I've seen you get passionate about projects. So I'm definitely looking forward to coming out and checking it out.
It's an exciting project. This week we were working with the architects, and I love the dream part of it. I've done the layout of the property myself, and we have it pretty to scale and looking pretty good, but nothing's been done professionally from an architect. So this week we met with our architects for the first time, laid out the first 3 buildings, and Chris, you'll be happy to know that the dance club has grown into about 10,000 square feet. So we're going to be able to do some great festivals and great space for you in the DJ booth.
Awesome.
I'm gonna have to learn how to DJ first, but that's on my list. But
now, the way you were talking, I thought you were a professional DJ.
No, not yet. One question before we move on: are you considering any cannabis-based agriculture there as well?
Well, at the moment, no, because of the smell, essentially. And I need to talk to you about this. We're already a recovery facility with probably 5 bars on premises. So there's a lot of work to do there to keep everything separate. And because of the smell of cannabis, while I'm on the 55 acres, I'm not. But land's pretty cheap out there, so I definitely wouldn't discount having a hemp grow on a different piece of property, and then marijuana when it legalizes in Texas, which I know with Chris's help is going to.
Yay!
Hey, let me ask a question. How far is this outside of Dallas? Where's this located?
So it is about, it's 2 hours, 2-hour drive from Dallas. It's 30 minutes from Shreveport, 30 minutes from Longview, and about an hour from Tyler.
Okay, East Texas. Okay.
Yep.
I got it.
And George Foreman, a fellow athlete, lives like within a mile of my property. So that'd be an interesting meet at some point if he'll come meet me, because we're going to have a full gym, and I know he's big into putting gyms up and helping kids especially. So maybe we'll be able to call it the George Foreman Gym and have him come out and do some coaching with the local kids.
Awesome. He's big down there. My dad is from that part of Texas, East Texas, called Center Texas, off of 59. And I was just trying to get a line of sight of where you were, but I'm very familiar with that area.
Oh, excellent. Well, come out and check it out. And we're right off of 59, right near Marshall. I'm 9 miles from Marshall.
I will.
Maybe we can do a live broadcast from out there.
Oh, definitely. We'll have you come out, because I know I'm going to want your help with putting together the restaurant and all of that. But moving on, Dr. Shaw, how are you doing these days?
I'm doing a lot better. Back in Phoenix, enjoying the warmer weather. Starting to ramp up with some more projects, but overall, I'm hoping this will be a good year for everyone.
You look like you're kind of getting that Wolverine thing going on there, Dr. Shaw.
Yeah, it's probably time to shave.
Chris, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great, Charles and Melissa. We actually got to enjoy a little bit of snow here in the Austin and in the Bastrop area. I was out seeing my parents with my my wife and my 1.5-year-old this weekend. So he got to build a Texas snowman, which is those tiny snowmen that you can only make in Texas snow. But it did stick for about 12 to 18 hours. We had a great time. And my little boy just wants to keep go outside, he says. But I say, no, not when it's 30 degrees in the morning. It's got to warm up to like 15 like it is now.
Did you teach him never to eat yellow snow?
He was a little afraid of touching it and putting his mouth, so we didn't quite get to the point of eating the yellow snow yet. But I'm sure that once he's starting a potty train, that'll be a big issue that we have to explain.
Well, Marvin Washington, Super Bowl champion and director of Isidol's, already popped in. He's one of our guests. We'll do a better introduction in just a minute. And then we have Will Carr again on with us from Denver, also a pro athlete and owner of Genesee Nutrition. So they'll both be on with us today. And so you know them when they pop on with the news. Today, is it Chris or Dr. Shaw that is handling the news piece?
I think we'll start with Dr. Shaw because it's got a big medical component, and then I can come in with any legal implications.
Great.
So we're going to move into that study for this discussion, correct?
Well, we could start with the main article is about the edibles, and I can kind of summarize that real quick and then kind of get Dr. Shaw's take on what it's maybe the medical implications of the country moving more towards edibles and away from smoke. And we don't have to get totally into this CNN possibly misinformation article about the headline said basically that marijuana smoking has all these chemicals, but the study may not have actually supported that, as Dr. Shaw was saying. But the big thing is that edibles are actually outpacing the growth in all other cannabis types of cannabis products have grown about 56%. Edibles have grown over 60% in the last year. So edibles are definitely outpacing the growth of other cannabis products. And that is companies like Curaleaf are now just entirely concentrating on going into edibles. So the market may be changing coming up. New users are going more towards edibles because they're afraid of smoking. Maybe people that aren't used to smoking or vaping don't quite want to get into that. And so you get a lot of new users that may be afraid of smoking or vaping really coming in and doing edibles. So I'm curious about the medical implications of this, Dr. Shaw.
I think that if we look over the span of time that individuals have been smoking cannabis, it's quite clear that there are relatively limited health concerns. I think most obvious to the fact that it could be somewhat of an irritant, so if you're predisposed to asthma or other types of inflammation, it may in fact trigger that a bit. But at the same time, we also know that it has an anti-inflammatory effects. More recently, there seems to be, and this will probably be a segue, I think we should dive into the CNN piece next week, but I believe there's some kind of agenda, I'm not sure why, to try to link cannabis smoking with the well-known health hazards associated with tobacco smoking. And I feel that's a tremendous disservice. Is it as innocent as perhaps researchers thinking this is a great time to do esoteric, pointless studies that they can get grants for because everyone's starting to go towards the legalization, perhaps. And if it's that innocent, that's fine, except they don't really see the consequences. When this article we'll discuss next week, I ran a quick search and it was just echoed on so many different health sites. Like, did anyone actually read this article? And so we can talk about that next week. But the point being that I think inhalation is going to, at this point, probably just represent a very limited, increased kind of health concern compared to edibles or, alternative types of use of cannabis.
Well, I feel, personally, as a type 1 diabetic, when you're talking edibles, there's a lot of other factors involved. Whether it's sugar or whatever the transportation, what you're transporting the actual cannabis through. So I think that needs to be played in. Personally, I find sugar a much more of a poison than smoked hemp. But I think also the fact is, and I can say this because I did smoke, I no longer haven't smoked for years and years and years and years, but I was smoking a pack a day. That's, anywhere from 18 to 20 cigarettes a day. I don't see myself smoking 18 to 20 joints a day either.
You wouldn't be conscious.
Well, maybe, but so I think that's something that plays in too. I don't think these two can even be compared equally.
Yeah, completely different. Like no one, yeah. Like you said, there is people that'll smoke an entire pack of cigarettes a day, but if I smoked 3 joints by myself, I'd be asleep. So, it's just not even comparable in that sense. And especially, I think the biggest thing that people need to look at when it comes to they're talking about chemicals, but if plants are grown organically, especially cannabis, you're not going to have those chemicals, and you're not going to be ingesting them as you're inhaling that smoke, because the chemicals aren't going to be there because the cannabis was grown organically without those chemicals. So I think a lot of that, they don't even want to take that into account. I think articles like this are really just, it's you can figure out how to make a study say anything you want if that's your purpose and that's your goal. And so I think, these types of things are just very obvious proof. I feel like there's lots of things that are happening in the world right now where it's just so obvious that propaganda is real. People are constantly trying to confuse the audience and make people not know what's true. And, we're really coming into an age where, I saw some Dave Asprey thing on Instagram the other day, and he was saying we've moved beyond the information age and we're really into the deciphering information age, because there's so much information on the internet. It's we have to be able to figure out what's true. And so that's why it's great. But I mean, it's so obvious, like Dr. Shaw saying, he looks at the actual papers behind what that article is saying, and the study doesn't even say what the title of that headline represented. It's just wild.
Marvin, what's your take on it?
Sorry, I think that's an excellent point, Will, that you made at the beginning too about the self-regulation of smoking a joint. That was something I forgot to mention. We started out. The one problem with edibles is that people have been kind of over-consuming them because of the delay in kicking in, which is very different with smoking a joint or vaping, where it kicks in pretty early. So one of the really good things that we're seeing these companies research that are really marketing in edibles like Curaleaf is that they're trying to find a more fast-acting edible, so that people don't suddenly take a bunch because they don't know when it's going to kick in. So they can kind of feel that microdose more towards the beginning of taking it. And it can be more simulate a joint in that you won't overdose because it'll self-regulate it. You'll get enough and then you won't want more.
Marvin, what's your take?
No, I think that's it. And some of the stuff that Will was saying, the chemicals in tobacco and cigarettes, there's a lot of synthetics and artificial chemicals and metals in tobacco that are not in cannabis. Most cannabis, you want to make sure that you don't have any metals or anything like that in your grow, because this is something that you want to give to your grandmother, your mother, your aunts and uncle, and these things can make you sick. And I just think cannabis is the way it's grown now, and the lab testing that you do, it's much cleaner. It's a much better product. And with edibles, the only issue that we have with edibles, like the doctor said, is people over consuming them. And so I understand companies like Curaleaf, and they want to have something that acts faster. But one of the biggest things to me with edibles is education. You got to tell people, whether they're at the bud tenders at the dispensaries or the cashiers at the dispensaries or whoever they're buying from, is you take it low and take it slow. Don't eat a whole bar. Don't do it, especially if it's your first time and you're experimenting, because I think that edible is a much cleaner and better delivery system than smoking for a lot of people. And so you definitely have to take it low and take it slow. But this is something that, an emerging market has to go through, and we're going through it. When you look at Oregon and Colorado going up in 2012, that was just 8 years ago. So this is an emerging market, and it's growing, and we're going to get better. But we're going to not going to do business as usual like the tobacco industry. We're going to do a better business, and it's going to be healthy, and it's going to be medicinal, and it's going to be that's going to uplift society.
Excellent. Well, what a great conversation. We're going to go take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back with Marvin Washington. See you after this break.
Coming to you after our hike that we finished. Buster exercises 3 miles. Today is a recovery day because he did 8-mile hike over the weekend, broken up into 2. But what I want to share with you is this company here called Simple Changes. I learned about them and I absolutely love the concept. It's wellness, community, and organization. So as you can see here, I love the wrapping. I love purple. and it comes with 3 products. So I've been trying them out. First, it's the hemp oil spray, then it's the hemp oil dropper, and the hemp oil ball. So I'll be trying all of these out. I've been exploring them, exploring the ingredients. I met with the team on Zoom. Really, really, really neat product. And I love the fact that they also want to incorporate healthy practices. So they come with a little journal and something about simple success guide. So simple changes.
Well, you got to meet him a little bit earlier, and if you've joined us in previous episodes, you've met him as well. But I'm really excited to have Marvin Washington back. He is a Super Bowl champion and the director of Isidol. So he is retired from the NFL after 11 years and 3 teams. So it's pretty incredible background already, but he's a voice of NFL players in concussion lawsuits. He's addressing trust about the effects and outcomes of chronic traumatic head injuries. He's an advocate for, alleviating prescription opioid abuse. I mean, all of these things that are becoming so hot topics in the NFL as well as in other professional sports. So I think that there's so much to talk about, and we're so glad to have you back. So first of all, welcome. And then I'm going to go ahead and kick it off a little bit and just circle back a little bit to how COVID is affecting the business. How is it affecting Isidol and moving forward?
COVID, like everybody else, I think it kind of caught everybody surprised, because if you would have predicted in last February or early March that we were going to have these shutdowns that we were going to have, and we were still going to be in them at this point, nobody could have predicted that. But what it has done with this industry and with our business is it's made us adjust to the future, because I've always predicted that big box stores and brick and mortar stores were going to, go to the wayside. And that's unfortunate in a lot of ways. But e-commerce and direct to consumer is the wave of the future. And that has definitely made us adjust and make our online presence much more. And I can't say it has been easy, but we're still here. And I think the companies that have survived through the pandemic and through 2020, they're going to be around. You saw some consolidations and some Chapter 13s and what have you that happened in this industry, but that's part of the maturation of this industry. But I think if you can going through this cycle, adjusted your business, I think when America 2.0 opens back up, you're definitely going to be there, and Isidol is going to be there.
It can be a really good thing.
Marvin, let's kind of take a step back and just tell us what Isidol is. Tell us about your company, and then how you overcame the COVID obstacles.
Well, Isidol is a CBD isolate company that was started in 2009 by our founders. And back then, and over the next few years, it was doing bulk manufacturing, and selling kilos. And so kilos had gone from a price of isolate of $99,000 a kilo to, I believe now you can get a kilo for a couple $100. But and that's a good thing. And then we started doing contract manufacturing, white label, for a bunch of companies. And then we wanted to show our customers like all the deliveries, and that's how we came out with all these brands and SKUs. From the products that we have is like nano water, we have coffee, tea, transdermal patches, edibles, tinctures, topicals, and what have you. And now we're going. A big part of our revenue is going straight to consumer and being on the retail side. And so we've narrowed our focus down. Because we had over 1,000 SKUs. I think now we have less than 400, and we know what sells and what the consumer are really asking for. And that's where our focus is. We're a CBD isolate company that, sells CBD and have a bunch of different deliveries. And we still do contract manufacturing, but we're basically a retail shop to sell CBD. And saying what our focus is, we were kind of surprised because during the pandemic, man, a lot of people were getting pets, and our pet line has really taken off, and I'm being a pet lover, and I love animals, and I'm an ST SPAC member. I absolutely love it, and I'm happy about that, because what I found out through this deal with our pet products, people will spend more on their pets than they do themselves. And I think that's the next market that the CBD companies need to be looking at is pet products, because we certainly are.
Well, you add to that the fact that some of these couples these days decide to go childless, and their pet is their child. So further to your point, and they're spending that kind of disposable income. So, within the context of this more extreme environment that COVID has caused all of us to deal with, could you give any recommendations to cannabis companies on how to kind of survive this and maintain continuity of their business?
I think, the ones you have to adapt, because the industry has basically adapted and it's gone all online. So you're not going to see the big conferences, B2B, B2C anymore for a while. I don't think that's going to come back until 2022. But you have to adjust and have a online presence and do things that's going to bring attention to your company, because the brick and mortar, we had to deal with Vitamin Shop, and they shut down their stores for a few months, and our products were just sitting there. I would say adjust to the market that it is now. So a lot of it is direct to consumer, and it's online and it's web, and that's the way it's going to go, because people have realized that they don't really have to go out. During this pandemic, my mom and my sisters, they got their groceries here. They got water delivered. Only thing they had to go out was basically for gas for their car and whatever, but everything else was delivered right straight to their doorstep. And a lot of people realize that. So these cannabis companies, CBD companies, definitely need to realize that, because you have, parents that are at home with their kids, and they've been a parent, they've been a spouse, they've been a teacher, they're being all these things, and it creates anxiety and whatever. The other thing that went up with us is our tinctures, because it definitely has a calming effect and whatever. And we had a big marketing campaign behind that. Adjust to the market. And I think it's gone e-commerce and straight to the consumer.
Hey, Marvin, it's Chris. Good to see you again. What can you tell us what the industry can expect to see from Isodol and your company moving forward in 2021?
Repeat the question again.
Yeah. What can the industry expect to see from Isodol moving forward?
We have some strategic alignments that we're trying to close out with professional teams. I know that we were counting on the NBA to open up that category. They did not, but from the people that we talked to, they fully expect that to open up next year. That's the thing that is going to happen in this industry, is there's going to be branding and marketing opportunities with major league teams. So you're going to see cannabis companies sponsoring, or being the primary sponsors of stadiums and teams and bowl games and things of that nature, because that's the maturation, and that's the way this industry is going, man. And I'm looking for us to assimilate into the mainstream, because I've always said, whether it's THC or CBD, cannabis is medicine. So CBD is the Trojan horse that's going to get us into everybody's household and get us into middle America and get us in the South and whatever. And then we're going to open up the belly and show them THC. But I think CBD is going to be the first mover that's going to get everybody comfortable and what have. And then we're going to open up the belly. And I see federal legalization coming on within the next 3 or 4 years. And we have a responsibility for this industry to set the table for when the real movers and come in here, because we're early. In 5 or 10 years, that's really going to take this industry to the space age. But I'm very bullish on this industry. I'm bullish on the medicinal benefits that it can do. I'm bullish on the economic benefits that it can do for underserved communities and the communities that have been most affected by the prohibition of this plant. But I think CBD is going to be the first mover. And if when America 2.0 opens back up, I think CBD is going to be, part of the conversation because it has been deemed an essential item along with THC. So let's take advantage of that and keep going.
Marvin, just one last question, and I just kind of wanted to follow up because we had talked a little bit about the lawsuit that you had going on that was in the process of getting national recognition. What's going on with that, and what are your thoughts with the change of regime in the White House? Are you hopeful?
Oh yeah, I'm very hopeful. What happened with our case is that the Supreme Court decided not to hear it. And that's fine. And so all of the plaintiffs in the lawsuit, we've kind of aligned with the DPA and gone on with their Cole amendment that they put through Congress, and they're going to put through the new Congress and the Senate. As far as this new administration, I think I know there is politics that come into play. But I think with this new administration, we definitely have more friends than we did on the last one for the cannabis industry. And that's why I said I think you're going to see federal legalization sooner rather than later. But it has to be done right. And if it's done right, then I think cannabis, as Bob Marley said so many years ago, it's going to heal the world. It's going to heal this country medically and economically. And I'm happy about that. I'm definitely happy about that because who sung it? Bob Dylan. Change is gonna come. Change is coming. It's gonna come, and it's gonna be good for this country. It's gonna be good for the economics. It's gonna bring back manufacturing. It's gonna bring health. It's gonna get us off these opiates and benzodiazepine path that we're under, man. It's going to have affect climate change, so we have less of an environmental footprint with our hemp products and the hemp free that we're putting out. Man, this thing is going to be phenomenal, and I'm looking forward to it.
Marvin, I'm a little bit more optimistic than you in case President-elect Biden is a regular watcher of the show. I think that you need to have it in your 100-day plan because you can make 67% of the population very happy by legalizing marijuana within the first 100 days. That's what I want to see. And again, I think it's a great play because last I saw, I believe it's 67% of the population is pro-marijuana. So next 100 days, President Biden, please.
I really wish he would, man, to push this thing forward because we've been lied to about this plant for 88 years or 87 years, man. It's time that we go into the 21st century, and I think cannabis, CBD, hemp can lead the way. I'm looking forward to it. I'm down here in Texas now, man. And, Texas has the 13th largest economy in the world if it's a standalone country by itself. So can you imagine some of the farming in East Texas and South Texas and West Texas that they change over and start growing cannabis and start growing hemp? This thing is going to be phenomenal. And I'm looking forward to it.
President-elect Biden, next 100 days. Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Marvin. We're going to go off to a commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to have Will Carr on with us. Please go to our website, thebuddingreport.com, and get contact information on any of our guests. They want to hear from you. Please reach out, do business with them, ask questions. Marvin, thank you for coming back and being a repeat guest on our show. Feel free to hang out and we can team up on Will here in a minute together. So we'll be right back after this commercial message.
Hello. Here on my lunch run in the middle of the heat where I get my break really quick after training clients and leading some classes. I am taking my Simply Satisfy. It is 3 sprays, organic hemp. Next one is my Simply Start. You can take it twice a day or once a day. I already took one morning dose. I'm now taking my afternoon dose. One little yummy organic hemp. Check them out, Simply Generals. Helicopter. All right, time to go, Trina. Run down the hill. Bye-bye.
Well, we're back, and we're with Will Carr, another pro athlete and owner of Genesee Nutrition. So Will's joined us before, and we're very excited to have him back on stage. On stage, I say that. Hopefully we'll get to that point again, but back via Skype. He is a lifelong entrepreneur, adventurer, athlete, and a very proud Colorado native. So received a degree in industrial systems engineering. He played professional basketball in South America, and he made it his goal to develop a line of high-quality hemp-infused dietary supplements and functional foods. So we've heard a little bit about that, but I just heard some really exciting news, and I'm very excited because Sprouts is one of my favorite all-time stores, but you're available in all Colorado Sprouts locations. Is that correct?
At the end of February.
So, very exciting.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Marvin. Yeah.
Well, can you tell us a little bit more? I mean, how did that kick off? I mean, I like I said, I shop there all the time. I find some of the best new products. My creamers from there only place I can find it. So how did you get involved in this, into Sprouts in the first place?
Yeah, well, Genesee has been around for just a little over a year now. We launched in we launched in December of 19. So, we've just been gaining more traction, and this is, one of our biggest new flagships. Really, it's our real first entry into what I would call like a mainstream grocery, natural grocery. And I'm really excited for it. Sprouts has been really forward thinking and progressive on hemp extract for a while. And so, we just have a really unique product with our protein bars. Having hemp extract as an ingredient. And I think, honestly, they just tried them and, they taste so good. We have the best tasting protein bar on the market. And as an athlete, I've eaten a ton. So, I'm excited to get them in there and see our velocities just skyrocket. And yeah, it's going to be cool. Sprouts is a great place to be in. It's a great store. They have lots of great brands and great products. And how many more times can I say great?
Well, I concur. It's where I do most of my shopping. So a little plug for Sprouts there as well. So I'm excited. I look forward to getting your product here in Texas so that I can start buying it as well.
Well, one of the things about not having live shows that I miss is Will would come in for a show, stay with me at my house, and then at the end he would leave all of the excess product that he had, and then my friends would come over and try the product, and hopefully they're ordering it from you. Well, Will, we had a whole show, I think last time you were on your experience with Amazon, a 99% code that you had developed in order to give samples out to potential clients, I believe, got leaked, and you lost $75,000 worth of product. What's happened since we last talked about it?
Nothing. No, honestly, that's probably the most honest answer. But with my other brand, Sunrise Supplements, we're an all plant-based protein powder with hemp extract, and you can find us on Amazon. Vanilla chai and chocolate, really smooth. Really high quality, tastes great. But yeah, we had this 99% off code that we were using to send, samples to influencers, and through things in the back end of Amazon, like there's this thing called Honey, and its entire purpose of that plugin is to go through Amazon, find all the different codes, and make sure people get the best deal. So someone was able to find this 99% off code. Leaked it to like a $5 under deal, and within 3 hours, $75,000 worth of inventory was sold for not just free, because then I had to pay Amazon like an additional $7,000-8,000 to fulfill all of it. But at the end of the day, Amazon says it's not their fault, and so they're probably right. And as a business owner, you just got to take it on your own shoulders and be like, you know what, I won't create a code like that again. Because obviously that sucked. But we're moving on. We're starting another round of production for the Sunrise Supplements protein powder right now. And so I'm excited about it. We got a good product. At the end of the day, the product got into the hands of a lot of people, and we've seen return customers from it. So we might have, as a small business owner and a startup, that seems like a huge hit. But you know, at the end of the day, like, we're going to survive, and I still haven't missed any meals. And, you know, my people that work with me haven't missed any meals either. And so, you know, we're going to be fine. It's going to be a fun little story looking back 5 years from now. And hopefully by then we're doing so much revenue, we can just laugh about the 75 grand.
So it seems you're actually in the process of launching a third brand now called Modern Hempy. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so my partner, Courtney, she actually suffered from a few different autoimmune diseases like Lyme's and Hashimoto's. And that's what really got her into CBD in the hemp space. And that's how we met. But you know, she is, she's this like little 5'1" Indian and the absolute definition of what I would call a modern hempy. So she makes these different warming and cooling muscle rollers, this agape absolute moisturizer, and that's just amazing to put on your skin. But, you know, her main thing since going through her different health situations has just been to make the highest quality products possible. I mean, she uses different, you know, a lot of it is about function. You know, we put all these different essential oils in these products that really are even more expensive than the CBD that goes into it. And, you know, it's just amazing how, you know, we have all these things with modern medicine these days and all these things that, you know, we're told we need to do, or different pills we're supposed to take. But, you know, like even back in like Jesus' day, you know, people were fighting over essential oils. Like that was the gold, you know, that was the most valuable thing, were these essential oils, because of all their benefits and how they can help you or keep you clean, disinfect. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm really excited about this brand too, because honestly, all three of these brands now that we have work so synergistically together. You know, I envision your Colorado snowboarder waking up in the morning and drinking his Sunrise Supplements protein shake before he takes his Modern Hempy tincture as he's going out the door, grabbing a Genesee Nutrition protein bar when he's on the ski lift, and then coming home and using the warming muscle roller on, you know, your sore legs after a day shredding the mountain. And so, you know, my bigger vision, even in how I'm building my business and setting up my business operationally and organizationally, is so we can really, you know, as we're building out these different distribution channels, and whether that be e-com, you know, Amazon, Facebook, Instagram ads, you know, also getting into these different retail distribution channels like Sprouts and other specialty grocery and convenience stores with the protein bars. You know, we're going to be able to drop these different brands into this organizational structure that we've already built. You know, and I kind of want to be like a Procter & Gamble, except a conscious Procter & Gamble that really cares about the products and the ingredients that are going into it, and making sure that, you know, we can provide all kinds of great products to the consumer. And so, yeah, we've got three brands now. I say it like we've just got three. I'm sure a lot of people will be like, "Hey, you got three?" But you know, I'm ready to have more. And you know, Genesee is definitely the flagship. It's the one that's getting the most headway right now and really breaking the ice for me and my team. But yeah, the future's bright. And you know, everyone kind of seems like, in general, people are kind of down on 2020, and I understand why. But I'll say 2020 was the best year of my life, and 2021 is going to be even better. And so life is just awesome. And yeah, I'm pumped.
Well, that's awesome, Will. I'm so glad to hear that 2020 was better for you than for most people. Kind of switching gears and kind of I have a question kind of about 2020. I for the first time started working from home. I have I guess my child was about 9 months. Now he's 18 months after it started. So I had to experience working from home with a child. But you have an experience yourself that's a little different than mine. It's like on steroids a bit, because you have not one, not two, not three, not four, but 5 kids at your home when you're working from home. So I want to hear about your experience with that.
Yeah, well, you can see that my office door locks. But yeah, no, honestly, it's really great. I wake up early most days, and I get in my office and just grind out. Really, no one sees me until like 10 or 11. But I love kids, and for me personally, I think everyone's different in their personality types. But for me, if I didn't have like that ability to work for 3-4 hours and just really take a break and go eat lunch and play with the kids for a little bit, and get out the crayons and color, or the paint sticks, or go outside and jump on the trampoline. Like, I really need that playful energy, because without it, I would get burnt out so fast. And so, yeah, it's one thing to, like, obviously kids can be a huge distraction. And sometimes it definitely, like, when I don't lock my office door, they're coming in wanting paper from my printer so they can color more stuff, or like asking me questions. And I'm like, you can get your own apple out the fridge. Yeah, I think that they can definitely be a distraction, but at the end of the day, I love working from home. I've worked from home like even before COVID. So it really wasn't new to me, but I can't imagine any other way. Like, the environment that I get to be in is just one that makes me feel so happy and filled up every day. And I feel like that is, if you can, it's like, you put a seed in the ground and you don't water it, it's not going to grow. You don't give it the right environment, it's not going to grow. And I think, that's why I feel so pumped about my life in 2020 and even in 2021. I feel like, I'm a good genetic seed that's been plopped down into some really nutrient-dense soil, and someone's given me all the nutrients and water that I need to thrive. And that's how my environment feels with these kids in the house, and with just the people around me, and my team, and the things I got going on. And I live in Colorado, so I take the kids on hikes and we go camping, and as long as I have cell service, I can still do my work. And yeah, life is grand.
We always put a huge smile on my face when I'm either with you or you're on the show, and love to hear about you. One quick question and then a final question is, when you did your Amazon deal, I was really hoping that you were going to kind of like giving away samples. You were going to get a bunch of people buying the product. And a quick answer, did that happen or not?
I mean, it's $75,000 worth of product, and a lot of times people, when they can get these like 99% off type deals, they're just looking for deals. They're not necessarily my customer. But, I definitely have gotten some customers, enough to say that it was like a good marketing move. No, but, but, we've gotten some. So, it was a fluke thing. It was an accident. So I'm just grateful for any positive things that have come from it at all. It wasn't planned. So anything that, any good takeaways we can have from it, I'm happy about. And I think, that's wherever we put our energy and focus, is what we see come into our life. We're all connected to the quantum field, and the energy that we put out is the energy that we receive. And so what we focus on, and what we think about is what multiplies in our life. And so I just think, it was a huge lesson for me personally, just to be like, I could sit here and be down about it, or I could choose to see this as a blessing and see all the other blessings that transpire in my life, because I made the choice to be positive and keep moving forward. And that's what I've seen. I'm really happy about the direction of our business and where it's headed in these early months of 2021.
Well, thank you, Will. In case you didn't see it, I had, talking about everything you just talked about, Canna World Expo had Dr. Vitale on on as a guest, and it was a great pleasure to get to interview him, and hope I can get him on the show too. But for the positive attitude and the law of attraction, it was great to hear from him. One last question, and we're about out of time, so please make it really quick. But what is, tell us about the 1% initiative for Colorado that you're participating in.
Yes. So Genesee is named after a Colorado mountain, Genesee Mountain and State Park. It's technically in Golden, Colorado. It's just up I-70 from Golden. And I love Colorado. Colorado's my home. It's my playground. It is like what I love. Like, I love living in the mountains. And so as we were looking into 2021 and how we really wanted to give back and be more involved in the Colorado community, we decided to start this initiative called 1% for Colorado. And really the whole purpose of it is we're giving away 1% of our revenues. It's not much, but we're giving away 1% of our revenues for both Genesee and Sunrise Supplements to go to initiatives here in Colorado that promote helping people get outside, that help people in the community that need it. But it's all based around the great outdoors and these epic mountains that I live in. You know, we want to sponsor, kids, like high-risk kids to be able to go out and go on these camping adventures and go on these really amazing outdoor hikes. And, we want to buy state park passes and give them away to people that are going to use them and enjoy them that, probably wouldn't spend the $120 on a pass themselves. But if they had it, they would use it and they would go and enjoy all of the beauty that we're surrounded by here in nature in Colorado. I mean, I just can't say enough. Sometimes I feel like a broken record almost just saying how much I love where I live. But it's true. I look outside my window right now and all I see are evergreen trees through the rolling hills. It's just something about being outside really brings us back to our roots. It really grounds us. It really reminds us of what's important in our priorities and how we want to spend our time and how we want to direct our future. And so at least that's what it does for me. It's so meditative, and I know it does that for a lot of other people. So I just want to, through the usage of this awesome and epic place that I live, I want to help promote the same sort of happiness that I feel in my heart and that I feel in my life. And I want to bring as many people to that same place because I wake up every day feeling grateful and feeling blessed. I want I want everyone to feel that sort of happiness within themselves. And getting outside in Colorado is one of the biggest things that helps me feel that way. And so, I want to help other people by getting them outside and letting them experience that too.
Well, Will, you got a heart of gold, and it's always great to have you on. Marvin, thank you again for coming on. This wraps up our show for this week. You can go to our website, thebuddingreport.com, and get contact information for Will, Marvin, any of our hosts, any of our past guests. Reach out, contact with them, connect with them, do business with them, and help move this industry forward. So we'll see you next week. Thank you very much for joining us on The Budding Report.